Hey everyone, Big Mac here. How's it going? I just thought I would do a little story slash slideshow slash. I haven't really put up a whole lot of stuff on my channel lately, so I would just figure I would talk about a gamer's lament. So basically, this is just me reminiscing and waxing nostalgic on a couple of games that I used to have when I was younger, but back in the day, I didn't have, my folks didn't have a lot of money. So, after I finished playing a game, I would, we would sell back the game, or stuff like that. And my voice is going today. I don't know where my voice just went, but it just disappeared like a minute ago. Anyway, so these are just some games that I wish that in retrospect, I wish I hadn't sold. A couple of them I have managed to reclaim back, so those aren't the ones on this video, but just, some various things, mostly for their obscurity, I suppose. I don't know how obscure they were, actually, and for various reasons. So, first one that I wanted to talk about is an NES game called The Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy. So, this was actually an unlicensed NES game. It came in like this gold-looking cartridge. I remembered it because I got it as a gift from a family friend, and unfortunately we don't keep in contact with that friend anymore. But I remember seeing this on the Home Shopping channel, back in 1991, and they were like, "Oh, here's this amazing character, Dizzy, the UK's #1 video game hero." And so we're like, "Oh, if he's popular in the UK, then he must be, it must be an excellent game," and all that other stuff. And so, I got the game, and admittedly, I never beat it, but it had a lot of interesting things about it that I still actually did kind of like. So I remember I would play this game in between episodes of Slit Your Shorts and stuff like that. But so basically, Dizzy is an egg who is on a treasure hunt, and he has to kidnap his girlfriend or sister. There's an evil magician, and all the egg people are in trouble and stuff. So he has to go around and collecting stars in the game to, try and save everything. I actually know that, in research that I've done more recently, I know that there are apparently two versions of the game. One where there's 100 stars to collect, and one where there's 250 stars to collect. The original one that I had the 100 stars. I don't know if there were any other differences between the two games, besides the collectible font. But it just had a lot of fun things to it. I mean, it was really frustrating because I was never able to beat the game. Although there was life system, there was an energy bar system. I even still remember the stupid puzzle thing that you find to it's like this little 15 slidey block puzzle to get a 1 life, and you made it say hocus pocus, busy wizzy, conjure up another. I still remember that. That, and there was a minecart level where you had to navigate certain ways in order to collect the stars and get through the whole minecart section. I think it took you to another part of the map too, but if you took a wrong turn, you died. So I remember strategically trying to plot out everything in it. But again, the entire game I never actually beat. I think I got as far as a pirate ship. That's about as far as I remember getting in the game. I don't know how far that actually was. I've never actually watched a playthrough of it. But, it's a game that I kind of wish I hadn't got rid of, for various reasons. One, because it was an unlicensed game, and those are, kind of cool and hard to find, especially at secondhand stores and stuff. And then just because, I never got a chance to beat it, but so maybe, maybe with more gumption I could have beat it one day or something like that. But anyway, it was made by Camerica and Codemasters. Codemasters, I think, that's not the people who did the Game Genie. No, that was Gloob. Maybe it was Codemasters 2, I don't know. Anyway, obviously they had another bunch of games that they came out with. Again, not officially licensed NES games. There was even this little switch on the back of the cartridge that was if you flip it to mode A, if it doesn't work, and then try mode B, basically it's to try and trick out the NES. I forget what the little part is, that basically an authentication code type situation. Or maybe it was just for the TV and the resolution. I don't, or the RF switch, I don't know. Anyway, another game of theirs that I had was called Quattro Adventure. I know there's a whole series of Quattro games, basically 4 in 1. The one that I had was called Quattro Adventure. So it's just like 4 shortish adventure games. So there was another Dizzy game in there called Treasure Island Dizzy. But from what I remember, like, I never beat it because it was so hard. Because basically everything killed you and you only had the one life. So if you got game over, that was it. You had to start back from the beginning of the game. And, all that progress was for naught. And I don't know why I'm yawning. Really sorry about that. Another game that I had was called The Boomerang Kid. I never got very far into it. But basically it was kind of like Donkey Kong. You had to, like, climb up these trees and collect the boomerangs in order to progress to the next level. It had a lot of levels going for it. So that was definitely made it more unique than Donkey Kong in that sense, but it still had the same basic jump around, collect the things, get to the end of the stage, and you can't jump down too far, otherwise you'll die. There was this other one of this kid named Linus Spacehead. He's like this little alien Chapulín Colorado type guy. I don't know what his deal was. I never got very far in this game. But basically, he's just a little alien dude, I think. I'm not sure. It's like stage 1, you have to get out of the water by riding the bubbles a la Mega Man 5 or Mega Man 9. You had to, like, ride the bubbles up to get out of the water, and then you ran across some palm trees. And I don't think I ever got much further than that. So it was a game, and it had, like, 3 lives. But again, all of these ones were pretty ruthless in terms of their or at least it's very unforgiving. Now, that being said, there was one that I honestly did like, Super Robin Hood. It wasn't the most intense game, but I remember liking that one a whole lot. I never beat it, though. I never beat it, and I kind of wish I had. I have actually watched a playthrough on YouTube of somebody going through the... I don't need to show you that I got the picture from Wikipedia. But yeah, so Super Robin Hood, it was just a really simple game, like move around, defeat the bad guys, collect the treasures. Although I never got to the end of the game, I think I got pretty far a couple of times. But yeah, so I had this game also, and again, not because of the sentimental reasons, but just the idea that it was like, kind of rare, and, just some awesome stuff like that. Now, that being said, one game that was not rare... And I'm not trying to be, like, sneaky of, like, rare, I can't talk today. Rareware or Rare Incorporated. But another game that was uncommon, I guess, and highly sought, especially nowadays. Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project. I had this game, and I loved it, and I played it through time and time again. I think I was usually... either Donatello or Raphael, actually, because Raphael had this really cool, like, special attack where he could, like, do an M. Bison, air drill type thing, and it was awesome. But, I had Turtles, I had all the Turtles games. I still have Turtles 1 and Turtles 2. I had Turtles 3, I had Turtles 4, Turtles in Time for the Super Nintendo. 3 and 4 I actually wound up giving or selling at the same time. Since then, I've managed to find 4 for relatively cheap at a bargain bin a couple of years ago. But 3 is obviously pretty elusive. But again, I had just played that game so many times, gone through it so many, beginning to end, and it is definitely a game where you have to have a specific strategy, or at least, if I felt like I needed a specific strategy in order to get through the game. Because if I just tried to play willy-nilly, I did terrible. Like, if I were playing it like a regular arcade game, I wasn't going to get very far. But if I was very careful and strategic in my attacks, usually, like, I think there was, like, this, like, scoop attack thing, where you could, like, lift your enemies overhead and that would kill them most of the time. I think that was usually what I just wound up doing for most of the enemies, and then like your very specific jump, dodge, and jump kick attacks for the bosses. And I liked it a lot, but basically I got to a point where I was like, I am done with this game. I am not benefiting from it anymore. So yeah, so I got rid of it. And admittedly, I know it goes for a little bit more money than Turtles 1 and 2 do for sure. But I was done with the game, so I really had no purpose for me in the back of my head to try and hold on to it. So that was the end of the NES games. Now there was one other game that I kind of wish that I still had. Most people are going to be like, why in the world would you like this game? But I had the Tiger Electronics version of DuckTales, and I don't know why, but I loved it. I mean, it was super simplistic. It's like you've got you had like Scrooge McDuck and the nephews, and you were going through the jungle, and you had to collect coins. And you had to pick them up. Like the coins would be scattered around, and then you had to pick up the coins and throw them back to your nephews so that they could collect them. In all the meantime, avoiding attacks from like the Beagle Boys, Beagle Boys, and Magica. I forget. Did she pop up? Maybe both places. And again, this is just like your old LCD Game and Watch type situation, where basically just certain pixels lit up at certain times to simulate a certain thing happening. Of course, this screen is static, so it's you're not really moving anywhere at all. And yet, I remember getting through like level 2, level 4, level 7 on this thing. But and admittedly, I found a video of it the other day where I was listening to it, and yeah, it's mostly bleeps and bloops, and yet I don't know, it's still like ringing in my head. Like, I love that music. I don't know. Also, again, I could. This was a game that I could honestly play for like 20-25 minutes at a time. So in terms of like your other Tiger Electronic games, this one definitely lasted longer. I want to say I had like maybe one or others, maybe another Tiger Electronic handheld game type of this sort, but definitely I do not remember it nearly as well. That being said, I had some other Tiger Electronic toys, and so again, some of them I do not regret. One in this particular was called the R Zone. So basically, it utilized the exact same technology where you had like your visuals, just popping up certain pixels, popping up on the LCD screen in order to simulate animation and stuff like that. Except what they did was they were like, hey, it's 1995. The Virtual Boy is going to be an awesome thing. So why don't we make this like a strap-on thing on your head? You insert the cartridge like by your ear, and then sorry for hitting the microphone. And then it like projects the image from the cartridge onto like this little lens thing that you can adjust so that you can see it. And so it's kind of like a virtual reality thing, except not. And it really, really wasn't. And the thing got really sweaty on your head, and the controller really didn't do all that much. And like it came with Virtua Fighter, which was like the Sega Genesis game. And unfortunately, it was nowhere near as cool. Basically, it was the exact same technology as the LCD Game & Watch things, except it was red, and you could wear it on your head. And that was really all the fancy things about it. Like, even as a game, the Virtua Fighter was so, I don't want to say badly programmed, but it was just so minimalistic. Like, all I had to do in order to go through, like, the list of, like, 10 enemies was just right kick, and then return back to my position. Right kick, return to my normal position. And 90% of the time, I could just go through that and beat the game without really trying at all. Sometimes I would jump just to throw things for a loop. But it was definitely a very gimmicky thing. That was the only game I ever had for it. I promptly got rid of that because I was like, this was pretty stupid, Mom. I'm sorry. And I know you're trying to save some money by not buying like full Nintendo games and buying these other ones, but this one was just not that good. Of course, I tried my best, and I played it multiple times. Like I said, I developed those strategies on how to beat the Virtua Fighter, which really required no strategy. Anyway, I don't know if I'll ever do like another list like this again, but so my thinking is like, hey, my birthday's kind of coming up. So if you ever happen to find any of those games, baby, you could send one my way. Especially the DuckTales or the Turtles 3, or at least, maybe Dizzy 2. Birthday wishes, yay! Until then, this is Big Mac saying, later. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to add this as an addendum to my Gamers Lament video that I'm kinda glad I actually hadn't posted, because I went to my local entertainment exchange store the other day, and guess what I found? Woo-hoo-hoo, I found Quattro Adventure! And yes, thank you, Bookmans, because you always have the random games that people do not want. Oh my gosh, but yes, I found Quattro Adventure. I tested it on, even on my, what do you call it, aftermarket NES, and it works. That being said, I played all the games. They're still all ridiculously hard. So again, I think I'm just keeping, I got this mostly for the sentimental reasons, not for, or for the, like, collector's thing. Oh, here's what I was talking about earlier. It's like, on the back of it, sorry I've got my flash on just because my room's kind of dark because it's kind of monsoony today. But it's like, made in Taiwan up on top, and then it's like, patent pending. But yeah, it's like, obviously don't drop, don't hurt the cartridge. So it's like, here are the two positions that you have to use, and there's literally like a little chip. Sorry, it's out of focus. Can't really do much about that. But it's like, here, have it switched over to position A, and then if it doesn't work, make it position B. Maybe that's like PAL NTSC thing? I don't know. Anyway, I found Quattro Adventure. Oh my god. So, yeah, alrighty. Thank you, guys.